Swim actually goes back as far as the 1950s when it was run by Thomond Swimming Club, and at that time there was maybe 30 or so swimmers used to take part in it. It was very much a local race, and it ran through until about the 1990s when it was abandoned because of the really the deterioration in the quality of the water in the river. But since that time, then the county council here have completed all the drainage works, and the quality of the water now is very, very good. So Limerick Masters restarted the race in 2008. So this year it's the 11th occasion year when Limerick Masters have been running the race. So we have in excess of 100 competitors here today. So it's quite a significant race, not just on the Midwest open water calendar, but really on the national calendar for open water swimming. It's probably the most spectacular race of its kind in a city centre because it's quite wide. The river is. It's subject to. You're more subject to the weather conditions and the tidal conditions here. But you get, as you go up the river, you get spectacular views of King John's Castle and St Mary's Cathedral, civic offices, the historic Shannon Rowing Club, and so on. So from a swimming perspective, it really is quite spectacular as a city centre swim.
I have to admit, I kind of came to sports later in life. When I grew up in London, I was really big into netball, a team sport, and they didn't play it back in Ireland. So I kind of found when I went to college and stuff like that, I guess I became more familiar with the student bar than I did the netball court, which just happens, But then I was just walking by here last year, 2 years ago, and I happened upon the Thomond swim, and I just thought, wow, this is fantastic. It's another beautiful day. Everyone was out in the water. It was people of all shapes and sizes having a great crack. And I thought, geez, I'd love to set myself a challenge to do that swim. And so last year then I did it for the first time.
Yeah, we advertised the event on our own website and Facebook page. It's advertised in the Leinster Open Water calendar and in the Munster Open Water calendar. So we reach out right across the country. So the event actually attracts in people from all over the country. We have competitors coming from even as far away as Belfast for this event today. So you have plenty from the Munster region and the Midwest, and also quite a scatter of people from the East Coast. We have an organising committee which put it all together. So we've a whole collection of activities that have to be done to put an event like this in place, and we interface quite a lot with people like the Marine Search and Rescue, who provide the safety cover for the race, and they're supported by Limerick Kayak Club, and we also have the Civil Defence are present here, and all those people sort of contribute towards the whole issue of safety and ensuring that all swimmers and competitors are comfortable and safe in the water, and if any of them get tired or get cramp or anything of that nature, that there's assistance there for them.
The Thomond swim is growing every year, and there are more than 100 participants this year, so it's grown from last year already. And I think one thing that we tried to do in Swimable Limerick was try and make swimming in the Shannon accessible to everyone. So we have social swims that we have throughout the year, and particularly we start them in August, and they're really open to anyone, to just splash around, to kids, whatever age, it doesn't matter. So Swimable Limerick, we have a website called limerickunderground.org, and we have a lot of information on that website, and we also have an active Twitter account, Limerick Underground, and Facebook as well. We recently had a campaign around designating a bathing area within Limerick City, because Limerick Council looked for submissions from the Limerick public around identifying bathing areas within the city centre. And this is something that I think is really, really important, because currently there is no designated swimming area in the city. So that means that people can't swim safely in the city. There are no sort of easy access points for swimmers to get in and out of the water. There's no sort of safety structures, and also the water quality of the river is not tested for swimmers to safely swim in it. So those submissions, the deadline was yesterday, but I think from what I've heard of people. They received a lot of submissions from Limerick citizens calling for a designated bathing area in the city so that families, children, young and old can come down during the summer and swim in the river. It's free, it's healthy, and it's the way we should be going in Limerick, I think. When I first moved home to Limerick 5 years ago, there was really negative connotations between the city and the river, and I think that is really changing as a result of swims like the Thomond swim, as a result of brilliant adventure sports like Get West and Nevsail, like the Illan Boat School. There is just so much activity going on the river. And I think on the whole, we have, over the last year since SwimableLimerick has been set up, when I first touted the idea of a social swim last year, loads of people were like, oh, that's disgusting, yuck, I wouldn't swim in the river. Yeah, 100 people turned up each time we did the swims and they loved it. And the water quality has really improved over the last number of years, and it is fine to swim in. I think if it was monitored regularly by the council, then that would really just encourage more people to kind of swim in it. Well, when we ran our social swims at Riverfest this year, they sold out within 2 days, and there was 45 spaces, they were completely gone. I was in the middle of my exams in UL, and I literally had people emailing me and ringing me non-stop for the 2 weeks before that. We could have filled those about 100 times more, and believe me, they were not from Limerick, those phone calls. I just thought it was people scamming me because there are all these weird digits on them. But then I was getting these voice messages from all over the world asking that they'll be in Limerick and they want to do the swim.
Oh, wow.
Particularly actually runners who were coming over for the Great Limerick Run who really wanted to do the swim on a Monday, and it was really disappointing to have to say actually we can't, we've only got a minimum number of people that can swim. It would really attract so many people into Limerick. There is no other urban centre in Limerick, Cork, Dublin, nowhere like that has a river setting like Limerick. This lovely tidal river, this beautiful vista of King John's Castle, of the Hump Museum, of beautiful Sarsfield Bridge and Thomond Bridge that is steeped in history and culture. This is completely unique. And I really think we could be really onto something here with promoting Limerick as an urban open water swimming destination. As I said, I'm a student, so this has been run on no budget. It was great now. We did get funding from Limerick Arts Office to run the swims at Riverfest, and that was really great at providing kind of swimming hats and also kind of food and kind of insurance and things like that, which was really helpful for us to do. But really, I think, open water swimmers don't ask so much. We don't really need that many facilities. We just want easy egress in and out of the water, a bit of reassurance that the water is clean. It would be great to have a changing room if possible, and that really doesn't cost much to put a block of something up so people can change in. So we're really not asking for a lot of money, but we are looking for a designated bathing area because that will mean safety for swimmers. It will mean that rowers and other river users will be aware of swimmers in that area. So really that's what we're seeking at the moment, is to have a designated bathing area that people can come down and just swim in. And then we just want the support of Limerick citizens to get behind SwimableLimerick and just to support us in that way.
I think SwimableLimerick are doing a fantastic job. They have, they've really promoted swimming, kind of casual swimming in the river, as opposed to this competitive environment. And I've taken part in their swims myself, and it's great because it just reaches out to a broader and a slightly different audience than what we have here.
I'm a big believer. I come from a health background. I studied medicine in college, and I'm a big believer that healthcare is really about the community and the urban centre making healthy activities free and accessible and readily available to everyone. And I'm particularly keen on the effect of nature as well on your physical and your mental health. And that is a great thing about urban open water swimming, is not only is it free, but it's reconnecting you in an urban centre with nature. You can see back here, there's like loads of swans. There are fishes in the river, so we are swimming with fishes. You know, you'll have weeds and seaweeds, I don't know exactly what they're all called, at your feet, but when you experience that, it's just so positive for your mental health and your physical health. And as I said, it's something that I really think anyone can do, and people, you know, should try and experience if they can. So I hope people come down to our social swims in August and keep an eye on our website, limerickunderground.org, or follow me on Twitter, Elisa or Donovan. And you are anyone, whether you can swim or not, you're welcome to come along and just have a bit of a splash.